Good morning, Jackson, Mississippi, and all surrounding areas. You have tuned into the free-range human show of choice. Your daily dose of reality radio starts now. This is the Clay Edwards Show, and we are broadcasting live on 103.9 WYAB. We're streaming worldwide right now on the TuneIn app. Just go search WYAB. It's running crystal clear right there, and on WYAB.com. All right, man, we're just going to jump straight in this morning. On the Mac Haik of Flowood, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram phone line, I've got the one, the only Mr. Conservative Ant. Ant, you there, brother?
What's going on, my man?
Man, welcome to FM radio in Jackson, Mississippi. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Man, I'm doing good. So you're down in Florida, right?
Yeah, I'm down in South Florida, Naples, Fort Myers area.
Is that where you're living at now?
I am. I like to call myself a little bit of an Illinois refugee, if you will.
Well, look, it happens. I mean, look, a lot of people moved down to Florida. Mississippi actually was one of the only, if not the only, red state to lose population coming out of the pandemic. And we had relatively loose restrictions here. But, hey, I'm all for it. I get to argue with people all the time, like, oh, Mississippi's last and everything. You lost population. I'm like, look, man, that's less traffic. I will take less population. I am not upset.
Yeah, no, that's one thing about Florida right now is definitely, it's populated. That's for sure. A lot of traffic. We're seeing it. But business is great, and business is booming everywhere. And that's definitely a plus for our economy. So
yeah, isn't it crazy how that works? So we're in this Biden recession right now, and but you get these pockets, particularly in suburban America, where business is booming, but people are just having to pay a whole hell of a lot more for everything.
Yeah, no, that's true. And the thing is when people feel comfortable on where they live, this is how I look at it. Say Florida, for instance. The price of everything has gone up, and they're saying that, the state of Florida is just as expensive, if not more expensive, than California. Well, guess what? We have a lot of things going on in Florida that are good for us, and so Floridians don't really mind paying a little bit extra just to know that we're going to be safe down here. There's nothing worse than living in a state like Illinois or New York or California where it's like you're paying all this money and you have, rampant crime, or you have bums in the street, or your income taxes are super high. So it's a give and take. You know what I'm saying? Sure.
Well, we refer to this as Jackson, Mississippi, but Jackson itself is a Democrat hellscape. I know you were here for the Struggle Jennings show at Howlin' Miles, and that's a great venue and all that, but the city itself is crap. But so most normal people live outside the city in the suburbs, myself included. I held on for as long as I could. I actually cut the lights off when I moved out of the city last year. And but it's that way. I mean, you pay a ton in property taxes and all this other stuff, and you get very little in return. Hell, it didn't have running water. The city did not have running water for nearly a month last year. We had a porta potty in my garage. That was finally the tipping point for me. I was like, I can't do this no more.
Yeah, it's a shame too, right? I mean, you're right. I was in Jackson, Mississippi, and it's sad because there's a culture there, in the downtown area seems really, really nice, or it seems like it was nice at one point. But as a visitor, I was like, I'm not really going to come here again, unfortunately.
Yeah, look, I owned a nightclub down there for 10 years, and we were after 5 o'clock, we were the only thing in town during the early. Well, from 2002 to about 2011.
Wow.
It was sad. We're doing everything we can to get people down here. We brought Girls Gone Wild, the whole tour bus and all that stuff. I mean, it's like, what can we do to get people down here? It was like, I felt like the P.T. Barnum of Jackson, Mississippi, midget wrestling, all kind of stuff. I mean, it's wild.
That is crazy.
So look, man.
Yeah, but I mean, it's probably the leadership, right?
Oh, it's absolutely the leadership, and it isn't just the current regime is terrible. They're a bunch of black for a living folks. It's just that's their gimmick. But it's 25 years of terrible leadership that got us to where we're at here in Jackson, and everybody's kind of kicking the can down the road and blaming all the problems on the previous administration. They finally have gotten to the point where there's no white flight to blame it on. There's no previous administration to blame it on. They've had full control, super majority Democrat control for 20 plus years now. There's nobody to blame it on but the guy in the mirror. It's like that Spider-Man meme where he's pointing at himself.
Yeah,
that's all they got left around here to blame it on is the Spider-Man meme.
Yeah, it's wild to me because had the roles been reversed and it was the Trump administration and they were, Trump was blaming the previous administration. Democrats would have said, "Oh, well, it's you now. You're the one running the country. This is you. This is your problem now." And that's exactly it. It doesn't matter who the previous administration was. I don't know where they're getting this from, but I mean, under the previous administration, our country was just at its best. But this administration blames everybody else besides themselves for what's going on right now.
Yeah, if I could jump in the Wayback Machine and get in Trump's ear in March of 2020 when COVID became a thing, I would say do nothing. Do nothing. Do like most people with a brain said, let this run its course, because that's what it's going to have to do anyway. It's vaccines. None of that's going to matter. The lockdowns, all that's going to do is prolong this. Don't do anything. Let people get sick. Unfortunately, we're never going to survive these type things as humans. It is what it is. We're going to get sick. You're going to die. Or you're going to get sick and you're not going to die. But we're never going to. We're just prolonging the inevitable when we try to fight these things to an extent. I mean, yes. Look, I'm not anti-vaccine. I'm just not putting anything in my body that Democrats are hell bent and determined on me to put in my body. They have no track record of success when it comes to any of this stuff. And I'm like, no. But with that said, I would not have gotten the vaccine if Trump was still president. It wasn't for me. I had a conversation with my doctor on 3 different occasions. Try not to live in my echo chamber here. Of conservative talk radio. And try to say, okay, Doc, what do I need to do? And he's like, Clay, you don't need it. He's like, this is going to be a pandemic of variants. And he told me that before I even knew before there was a variant. There wasn't a Delta at that point.
Right.
There wasn't an Omicron, whatever the hell it's called. It was
Transformer they come up with that month.
Yeah, the Omicron ghost variant.
The Delta, the Omicron, yeah.
I mean, look, and I know some perfectly healthy people. Delta hit us really hard here in Mississippi. I don't want to speak for anywhere else, but I'm 44. I was overweight. I've lost about 50 pounds. That was one of the things that came good out of this. Was I said, man, maybe I need to lose some weight so this doesn't take me out like it did some other folks, because that seems to be the people it was really getting was overweight, mid-40s individuals.
Right.
You just got to take some self-ownership, I guess, is more on my story there. Well, look, man, we kind of rambled on here a little bit. Let me introduce conservative Ant for people that don't know. Ant is, and I hope it's okay to introduce you like this, but you're probably ultra MAGA. That's our new thing, right? We're ultra MAGA. I put on social media last night. I am ultra mega MAGA king. I think I hit all of Joe Biden's synonyms for Trump.
You did.
So, but you're one of the loudest and proudest conservative gay voices out there, man. And I mean, talk about a minority.
Yeah.
I mean, they are wanting to get you right back in that closet, I'm sure. Like, shut up, get back in there. You've escaped from the gay plantation. What's going on?
Yes. Yeah, so last year I was actually one of the top 25 gay conservatives of 2022? So 2021, Outspoken Magazine. Outspoken is an organization that's been ran by Rick Grinnell. Everybody knows Rick Grinnell pretty well, I think, right?
Yes.
From the previous Trump administration. He was the first gay appointed cabinet member in history, but they like to forget that. And there are a lot of gay conservatives out there, and I believe in the Constitution and preserving our rights, and that's what I ran with. And I really think conservatism is common sense. I think everybody probably should be conservative, and the reason is because fiscally you want to be conservative, socially you want to be liberal. And if you're just liberal through and through, you're radical. And unfortunately, we're starting to see this now with everything that's been going on with the current administration. So, yes, I am not part of the LGBT community. I am part of the community in which I live, or, I'm an American first. So they like to put you in all these different little boxes and put you under LGBT alphabet, and then, the black community, Latino community, this community, that community. Look, whatever community you live in, that's the community that you're a part of.
Yeah, look, if they keep adding letters to the LGBTQAI+BLM plus community, we're all gonna be a part of it at some point.
Yeah, right. They're just adding everybody to it. And look, I came from a generation. I'm 37 years old. I came from a generation where I thought the word queer was offensive, but apparently we've added it to the LGBT, alphabet soup. So it's a weird time, right? I mean, that
you bring up a great point there, because I was kind of having this conflict the other day, because I talk a lot about this kind of stuff and the LGBTQ agenda and the psychopath gays out there that are interfering in things that I don't think they should be interfering in. And I'm like, well, can I say queer? Or is that well, they call themselves that. I mean, I can't even say the N word, but they call themselves that too. I mean, I was brought up to, you don't say queer is a smear, not a, it's a negative
derogatory.
Thing. Yeah. So I just whatever. I don't even know what's right or wrong. And if I get canceled, I get canceled. it is what it is at this point.
Yeah, it's hard to keep up, right? I mean, they're always striving for something else, and this is what we're dealing with right now. When you see these teachers that are across the country that are, trying to impose certain things on children, right? Impressionable minds, kids that are supposed to be learning your basic, math, reading, science, basic things that we learned when we were in school. My goal, and I'll continue to be vocal about it, is, this LGBT alphabet, it's really tarnishing the good men and women that are just happen to be gay out there.
That's exactly where I'm at with it. I'm like, man, I grew up like I said, I owned the nightclub for years. So suffice to say, I know a lot of gay individuals, and I've got this saying that I like to use, and it's one of the things that I've noticed about you. Gay is what you are. It ain't who you are.
Exactly.
And there's too many people out there that are tarnishing the names of good gay folks out there, just normal folks that happen to be gay. And there's nothing wrong with that if that's your choice. It is, but they're making gay what they are. I mean, and they're making it who they are. It's like this big identitarian thing. And I guess that's back to the point of the Democrat Party, man. It's just identitarian politics.
Identity politics, exactly. Yeah, nobody makes their sexuality their entire being, right? I mean, straight people don't do that.
I wouldn't even know how to do that. How would a straight person do that? What would you do?
I have no idea. I mean, do you act like extra alpha or something? How does that work?
I guess so. I guess there are some people out there like that. But and then I think that when you try too hard to be extra straight, you're probably actually gay.
Yeah, exactly. No, but we're doing an anti-groomers protest outside of Disney on May 21st with other like-minded conservative gay men and women, and we just want people to realize that not all of us want this for your kids. I think that should be left out of the classroom. Goes back to tarnishing the good men and women that just happen to be gay. But DeSantis did something great here in the state of Florida. He passed a bill. It was a parental bill that Democrats had to take and make it a "Don't Say Gay" bill, which doesn't say that in the bill.
Hey, Ant, hold that thought right there, man. We're going to take a break real quick. When we get back, I wanted to hit on that anyway, so that sets us up perfect. You're listening to the Clay Edwards Show. I've got conservative Ant from down in Florida on the line. We'll be talking about all things going on nationally on politics, and we'll be right back here on the Clay Edwards Show on 103.9 WYAB.
America, you love your country, so it goes without saying that you also love your ride. And Auto Armour in Flowood wants to help you make that ride shine. Auto Armour in Flowood is Central Mississippi's premier automotive detail and ceramic coating shop, servicing any type of vehicle, including ATVs, boats, and more. Need just a quick detail or paint correction? Auto Armour can make it happen. But if you're set to hit the road in a blaze of glory while flying the old red, white, and blue, Auto Armour should be your first and last call to give your ride a full ceramic coating. Auto Armour is locally owned and operated by the loud and proud American patriot Clay Edwards. Auto Armour also proudly backs the blue, all military and first responders. So don't forget to ask for your discount. Call 601-260-0858. 601-260-0858. Or stop in today, fellow Americans. Auto Armour is located at 4394 Mangum Drive in Flowood. Online at AutoArmourMS.com. Auto Armour, unapologetically American.
All right, welcome back into the Clay Edwards Show. We are live here on 103.9 WYAB right here in Jackson, Mississippi. And on the line, man, all the way down there in Florida, I've got my new friend and a like-minded individual, Mr. Conservative Ant. Hey, Ant, real quick, brother, before we go any further, you know, I need to tell you how we crossed paths at the Struggle Jennings show when I was interviewing him for my podcast. But I actually discovered you in Lions Not Sheep commercials or Facebook ads. Okay. That was my first, kind of figuring out who is this guy, and I started following you on social media and all that stuff. And I saw you in the parking lot that day at Haralson. You were outside with like your turquoise Lions Not Sheep hat. Yeah. I'm like, where did this guy? I didn't recognize you. I didn't put two and two together until a Struggle introduced you on stage. And I was like, man, I recognize. Where did he get a turquoise Lions Not Sheep hat? I can't find that option on the website, because I've got several Lions Not Sheep hats and shirts and all this other stuff. So how did you end up doing stuff with Sean Whalen and them?
Sean was following me, or had followed me, and I was kind of looking through my follower list. When people follow you so quick, you don't realize who's following you, who's not, and I kind of clicked on him because I liked Lions Not Sheep before he even followed me. And so when I looked, I'm like, oh my God, Sean Whalen is following me. And then he started commenting on my videos, and he was like, dude, you're great. And then they reached out to me and they said, hey, we'd love you to be a clothing ambassador for us if you're interested. I said, absolutely, I can stand behind being a leader, not a follower, which is essentially what Lions Not Sheep means. And, we took it from there. Hey,
so shameless plug here. If you want to send people to your ambassador link, if they're going to buy Lions Not Sheep, how can they find that?
Yeah, so if you go into my Instagram, which is Conservative Ant, you'll go up into the link tree in the top bio, and you just click on it, and it'll bring you to Lions Not Sheep apparel.
And it's also on your Facebook page, too. I think I saw it there last night as well.
It is. It is, yeah.
Cool. So look, man, y'all see me wear Lions Not Sheep stuff all the time when we do our Facebook live streams and this, that, and the other. So check it out and support somebody who supports us. Lions Not Sheep supports us, and Conservative Ant supports us. So let's support them when we get that opportunity. All right. So, Ant, we were talking about the anti-grooming bill, or the Don't Say Gay bill, as Democrats have affectionately nicknamed it. So you guys are putting together a rally out in front of Disney coming up on May when?
So it's May 21st. It is from 10 o'clock until 2. I also have that flyer put up on my Instagram if you want to see it. We've brought together, so General Flynn's son will be there. Anthony Sabatini will be there. Anthony Sabatini is running for a seat here in Florida. Great guy. He's been doing a lot for the state of Florida as well. And what I did was I started to rally some of the bigger conservative gay voices to show people that we're for this bill here in Florida. We don't want to talk to your kids about, sexual situations. And we stand with parents. And at the end of the day, we just want teachers to teach what they're supposed to and not talk to our kids about sex.
I'm glad you brought this up because, again, it was one of the things I wanted to talk about. And I kind of got to – sometimes every now and then when you're doing talk radio, you'll ramble yourself into a corner, when you're not getting phone calls and stuff. And yesterday was one of those days for me. I got to talking about the fact that it seems like a lot of the LGBTQ agenda people – and I don't even know if these are actually gay folks. I just think it's that hardcore left-wing side of the party. And a lot of folks pretend to, the A for ally. I think it's a lot of the allies playing gay.
It really is.
And I'm like, man, first off, most of you don't have children unless you've adopted them, right?
Right.
And then let's flip it to the abortion stuff. When you choose a gay lifestyle, regardless, you're opting out of child procreation.
Right.
You know, so why are you fighting this abortion fight if you're not going to participate in making children? And why are you trying to talk to other people's children about sexuality? This just feels like two things that should not be on the LGBTQ agenda.
Right. No, it shouldn't. And that's the thing is like, you know, kind of don't put your nose where it doesn't belong kind of thing. We're at a heightened point right now in our country where, you know, the abortion thing it's really changed my mind a lot on the views of abortion because of a lot of bills that have passed. And it's a hairy subject, right? But these far left-wing LGBT people or ally people, they just like to hear themselves talk, I think. And when they're not when they're not in the news or they're not talking about these people, they feel like they need to jump on another bandwagon. That's exactly what's going on right now. They're jumping on another bandwagon, and they just look for every excuse to be radical.
Well, yeah, I believe they get in these Twitter far-left echo chambers or pick a social media channel. I'm just using Twitter as an example here. And and it's like, what can I say to one up the last extreme thing? It's like, post-birth abortions. We'll just kill it when it comes out. Yeah, let's make that legal. And everybody's like, yeah, you know, let's do that. Yeah. I'm like, pump the brakes. You know, I said this the other day when this whole Roe versus, and we can thank Mississippi here. It's our Dobbs versus the Supreme Court or however the law is written or the thing's written. But Mississippi's the one that got this whole thing kicked off with our lawsuit and pretty much is getting Roe v. Wade overturned. And one of the things, I'm losing my train of thought here. I get wound up. But I know where I was at here. So I think most people we weren't okay with it. There was always going to be a segment of the conservative side who's 100% zero abortion, and I've being pushed into that camp, like no excuses, you know. But I think most people were okay with where it was, and then the left just had to keep pushing and pushing and pushing. Like, now we want 9-month abortions. No, hold on now. We're going to hit the reset button here. Yeah. And let this go back to the states and let the states decide. If, you know, a lot of the people here in Jackson, my whole thing started with this platform called Save Jackson, and that's how I ended up doing all this stuff. And I would complain about and show all the abandoned properties and just what a hellscape it was. And everybody would tell me, if you don't like it, leave. If you don't like it, leave. Well, now if you live in a state that has tighter abortion laws and you feel like that abortion is the most important thing in your life, that you need to be able to have instant access to abortions, if you don't like it, leave. Go find somewhere you can. Move out to California, move wherever. If you don't like it, leave. I'm cool with that. Bye.
Right. Well, that's the whole thing is giving it back to the state. So a lot of these far left-wing people, they don't like to read bills in full. They don't like to understand how our government works, and that's half the problem. So this is exactly what it is. It's just ending Roe versus Wade just gives it back to the states. So if you wanted to do all these nasty things to your child, you can go to that state. I was never vocal about abortion. I want to make that clear. I never touched on the issue. I just always figured I didn't have any skin in the game. I wasn't getting any women pregnant, obviously. But
according to the new Calvin Klein ad, men can get pregnant. So be careful out there, my friend.
Yeah, that's true. I'm going to have to look into the morning after pill or birth control.
I mean, the morning ad. Plan B. Here we come.
Plan B. Yeah. So I had read of a bill that had passed in the state of Florida, right? And this is what pushed me over the edge, and this is when a lot of people don't know this, and it's kind of moving everybody over to the pro-life movement, is because Florida passed a bill that you have 28 days after the child is born I don't know why they call it abort, because it's a human being, but you have 28 days to essentially get rid of that baby. So whether it's throwing it in the trash can, asphyxiation, or any other way, or stop feeding the baby for it to starve to death, you can do that, and they cannot investigate the death of the baby. Now, on day 29, then they can investigate. When I heard that, I said, you have got to be kidding me. There's no way that humans on this planet can agree with that. And that's what these people are for. That's what they want to do. And that alone pushed me to the pro-life 100, because I was pro-choice with like restrictions. So if a woman was raped, I was like, okay, I get it. You know, she should have the right to get rid of it. But then I started looking at the statistics, and statistics don't lie. Unfortunately, facts are facts. And only 1% of women are raped in these situations. Now, do all women come forward? Probably not. But the percentage is not high, bro.
Well, here's the other thing with that, too. And I don't want to be insensitive towards I personally know women who have been raped. And so I don't want to be insensitive towards this. But the whole rape and incest out that they try to use all the time, I don't even want to call it an excuse, because if it's real, it's not an excuse, it's a reality. And but combined, they count for, I think, 0.03% of all abortions. So here's the thing: if you know if you got raped or incested, which I guess it was really one and the same, right? I mean, rape's rape, regardless if it's your sister or child or not. As disgusting as that is,
correct.
You know the plan B, the morning after pill, is an option for you. You need to call the police, let them know you've been raped, regardless of who the family member or whatever was. And who's the judge, right? Who decides if it was rape or incest if you don't follow through and make a report with the police? There's too much gray area there for me. Again, there are morning after pills available if you feel that you got raped. I guess that's what I'm getting at. You know you got raped, and
so why not take that step the next day, the morning after? Correct. I agree with you. That's what I've been saying.
Are you going to wait to the 9th month to decide you don't want to have that baby? Or are you going to know the next day? That's all I'm saying. They don't know they're pregnant. Yeah, but you know you got raped. So go take the Plan B pill if that's what you so choose to do.
Right.
Make it make sense.
It doesn't make sense. And there's so many different, and that's why I don't have any sympathy for a lot of these situations, because like, you know, you're adults. You know of all the things you can do to prevent getting pregnant. And if you choose to not take those precautions, you don't get the right full term to get rid of a living, breathing human. You don't.
No, especially if you're just being sexually active. And then let's get back to the reality of it. That's what 99.97% of this is somebody just choosing to be sexually active, and oops, I made a mistake.
Yeah.
And
you know what, man? I mean, if Black Lives really didn't matter, I think the number that had been recorded since Roe versus Wade was 19 million black babies were aborted. I mean, if Black Lives mattered to people, then guess what? That's a lot of Black lives that have died.
I heard Jason Whitlock and them talking about it the other night. I think the number was more like 33 million was the one I'd heard.
There you go.
And which basically would put another third of the black population on the planet right now, or in America.
And people have to keep this in mind as well. A lot of states don't require to record abortions or take those numbers down. So it's not even accurate. It could be. It probably is more.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up, and we got to take a commercial break here, but I'm going to say this real quick. I'm glad you brought up the BLM stuff concerning the abortion, because I find it abhorrent. I'm trying to think of a good over-exaggerated word for disgusting, that the white, middle-class, college grad female, your typical LGBTQ purple hair agenda person, is out here fighting so hard to keep abortion clinics in black neighborhoods. Let's take a break on that and sit on that one for a second. I want to come back and get to it. You're listening to the Clay Edwards Show. I'm joined by conservative Ant down there. in Florida, and we'll be right back on 103.9 WYAB. Again, to the Clay Edwards Show. We are live here on 103.9 WYAB in Jackson, Mississippi, and on the Mack Haik Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram of Flowood phone line. I've got Mr. Conservative Ant. Ant, you still there, brother?
I'm here, man.
Man, look, again, dude, I appreciate you getting up and joining us this morning here. Luckily, you were in a little different time than you were in Eastern time zone, so you did get an hour more sleep than I did, I believe. So
I did.
All right, so picking up where we left off, talking about this fight for what feels like is for people's rights to continue to kill black babies. That's what it feels like to me. And so every time I see these crazy white liberal purple haired baristas in their BLM shirts out burning down black neighborhoods and fighting for the right to keep murder mills in black neighborhoods, it just blows my mind. And we're constantly the ones that are called racist. I'm sorry. I would love to see black on black crime stop. I would love to see black neighborhoods not get burned down every time somebody gets killed by the police. I would love to see black babies not get aborted at an industrial strength rate. I mean, and we're the bad guys. I mean, again, I say make it make sense, but you can't. It's just it's the agenda, right?
It is, and that's a good point. Of it's white liberals. So, look, I grew up in the outskirts of Chicago. I grew up in a very urban, suburb, and 60% of my friends were of different descent. So it's nothing new to me. But what really gets me is when you see these BLM protesters, or you see these, they're all liberal white women or men.
Here's a fun, I don't have the exact statistic here, but one of my co-hosts during the week is a female crime reporter here in Mississippi, and she rides around with these interdiction teams on the interstate that do drug bust and all that.
Yeah.
And she went to the interdiction conference in Chicago, actually, over last week. And one of the things they talked about there at the conference, it's basically a law enforcement conference, long story short, but was they went back and they looked at all the George Floyd riots over 2020, and they said the most violent offenders that they arrested on the Antifa side of things were not just white, but they were white males transitioning to female.
Wow.
And they brought
it's mind-blowing.
It is, but when you think about how angry they are all the time, it's not the least bit surprising. It makes you wonder, did George Soros and them say, if you go do this, I mean, I know he personally didn't say it, but however his money gets sprinkled out, did he say, if you go burn down this black neighborhood, we'll pay for your transition? Because that ain't a cheap surgery.
No, it's not. It's very expensive surgery, which is why taxpayers shouldn't pay for it when they go into the military and want to transition.
Absolutely. I mean, that's a joke. I mean, that's why. I mean, how about? I know we're bouncing all over the place here. I don't get like-minded people just like yourself on here all the time. So I like to hit some of the topics that I don't get to publicly discuss a lot. So the military ad with the My Two Moms stuff and all that. I mean, talk about missing the mark.
Right.
And apparently that blew up in their face too. It had the complete opposite effect that they were hoping for.
It did. Well, look, you're dealing with a heightened time of war right now, right? You have one of the toughest regimes, like Vladimir Putin, and they're putting out these military ads where there's guys that are lifting up, semi trucks, and then you look to the United States, and you want to talk about the United States is supposed to be one of the strongest in the world, and you're doing military ads. But who cares if you have two moms, bro? They're blowing cities up.
Yeah,
they're looking at us laughing right now, like, ha ha ha! Look at these guys. They're, it's like, where's the strength?
Yeah, the last thing I'm worried about when we're in the foxhole is, do you have two moms or two dads? I could care less. Yeah. I don't care if there's two if you're gay. I don't care. Do you have my back? That is, can you do the job? That is all I care about. This identitarian stuff, I swear to God, if I hear one more, this is the first black, trans, gay, white, mixed, Indian person, I don't care what you're the first at. Can you just do the job? That's all I want. I don't want a diversity hire for the sake of being a diversity hire. I want somebody who can do the dang job.
Exactly. Well, that's what the United States is they just check those boxes. They're like, oh, you're gay? You're hired. Oh, you're black? You're hired. It's really sad because it's not about qualifications. It's just that box they want to check.
Ain't no doubt. Hey, Ant, we got about 3 minutes left here before we gotta wrap this up real quick, man. How did you end up in the position you're in? I mean, how did you get off the LGBTQ plantation, or were you ever on it? Were you a conservative before you were gay, or did this just kind of happen over an amount of time? How did you get to where you're at?
You know, I'll probably blow your mind. I was a 2-time Obama voter, actually, because I thought that was also my duty as a liberal gay man, and I really wasn't into politics. But I think I really got into politics when Trump started running his first time around, and I started doing my homework. There was a man that I would recommend everybody look up. His name is Brandon Straka of the Walk Away movement.
Yeah, he got arrested on January 6th and all that stuff too, didn't he? Yeah.
He did. And he put a very compelling video out. He's also, he's a gay man from New York, and I had watched that video, and I'm like, damn, I really have to do my research. And I started doing my research, and that's when I started becoming more vocal. And you don't know this, but I did go to broadcasting school for a little bit, so I did radio and out in Illinois for a little while. So I started becoming vocal that way, and I just continued. I just went for it, and that's how I am where I'm at.
Look, tell everybody how to follow you, where your most desired place to be followed is. Let's get some Mississippi folks on board with that.
Yeah, so I was banned on TikTok. I had almost 1 million followers. I was banned a couple of times, but now you can find me on Instagram and all platforms: True Social, Getter, Twitter. It's Conservative Ant, A-N-T. My full name is Anthony, so that's where the Ant comes from, on all platforms. All
right, brother. Look, Anthony, I appreciate you jumping up and getting on here with us today. I had a blast talking to you. I hope you'll come back. We'd love to have you as a regular guest on here.
Anytime.
Great conversation this morning. Look, keep fighting the fight, and raise hell down there at Disney on May 21st.
You know I will, man. Thank you.
All right, brother. Take care.
Take care.
Peace. All right, man. Great interview with Conservative Ant there. I wanted my fellow conservatives to know that there are normal gay people out there, too, just like there's normal straight people. There's bat crap crazy straight people, and there's bat crap crazy gay people. And when we try to put people in boxes and say, oh, well, he's gay, he must be bat crap crazy liberal, they're not all like that, bro. And there's probably a lot more that aren't. But unfortunately, when they try to be outspoken, they go at them worse than they go at you and I. Just like when black folks get off the plantation and they start thinking outside the Democrat box, they go at them harder than they go at you and I. So I just wanted to put that out there, man. I wanted y'all to hear Ant. He's a great voice to follow, whether you agree with his lifestyle or not. It's none of our business what about anybody's lifestyle. My lifestyle is nobody else's business. That's why it's great to get like-minded individuals and be able to put those type things to the side. All right, we're going to take our last break of the day, and we'll be right back on 103.9 WYAB. All right, welcome back into the Clay Edwards Show. We ran the whole show today without mentioning any sponsors, so I just want to run through and thank my sponsors real quick here. First, Complete Exteriors, Roofing and Gutters. Glad to have those guys on board. Check them out at CompleteExteriorsMS.com. My good friend, Miss Kimberlee Haralson, over at Next Home Realty. If you're looking to buy or sell or move to or from the Jackson market, check out Kimberlee's listings. They're online at KimberleeSalesMS.com. That's KIMBERLEE salesms.com. My good friend Michael Deere and his team over there at Watkins Construction and Roofing. Give them a call today or check them out online for your complimentary roof assessment. We've had some storms come through. Great time to get your roof checked out. 601-966-8233 or check them out online at watkinsconstructioninc.com. Mississippi Karters Association and Drive Your Line. You can check them out at misskarting.com or driveyourline.com. And, of course, Lakeland Glass and Tint, where quality matters. 601-946-1000 for all your home, car, and business window tinting needs. All right. And, of course, myself, Auto Armour, right there in Flowood. If you need your vehicle ceramic coated, detailed, your boat, motorcycle, whatever, we can do it all. Give us a call, 601-260-0858 or AutoArmorMS.com. All right, man, great week of shows. I thought we had some of our best shows that we put on in our 263rd show today. I thought this was our 5 of the best that we've done yet. I appreciate all my guests this week. I appreciate all the callers. You guys were great. And Mike Madison, well, Jim Thorne up next with his music show, followed by Mike Madison from 9 to 11, Dana from 11 to 2, Jameson Haygood, and Kim Wade at 4 p.m. You guys have a blessed and safe weekend. I will see y'all Monday right here in the studio at 103.9 WYAB.
Thanks for listening. Tune in next week as the Clay Edwards Show discusses all that is going on in and around the city of Jackson.
This concludes our broadcast day.
Right here on 103.9 WYAB.